Hello friends, welcome to this very powerful space of learning. Today we'll be looking at another important topic that says text mastery in Photoshop. So right before us, this is a new created PSD file with a size of 2000 by 2000 and then a 300 resolution. So let's start by defining what exactly is text mastery in Photoshop. So text mastery in Photoshop is the way we customize, we change effect, not just only what the text is saying. So in another word, we can equally say text mastery in Photoshop means having full control over how text is created, edited, or styled. So now let's get started with the text tool itself. This very particular thing is the type tool, and we can activate it by simply clicking on it, or rather hitting on the key T on our keyboard. Yes. So quickly here with me, before we start writing anything, I would like you to know a few things about the character panel itself. So this very particular panel, this one and then this one is what form the character panel. And maybe in case you did not see from your own end, you can head over to the window and then check this very particular one, and then this very particular one will pop up here. So now let's continue. Now I like to add like few keywords, or rather words, on our canvas, then I will continue. Now under the text tool, if I long press this very particular thing, you realize that we have horizontal type tool, we have vertical type tool, and then we have a vertical type max tool, then the horizontal type max tool. So this is just like an orientation of how to start writing or adding text onto your own Canva. If I click on this very particular one, which is the default and then the most used one, if I click on it here, I'll just quickly start writing in horizontal orientation. So let me delete this very particular thing. Let me long press here and then select the vertical type tool. If I click this very particular thing here and I started by saying hello world, so it will start writing vertically. Then same thing with the other two last option, horizontal type mask tool. This create a max, and if I set OK, you realize that we're only left with like a selected pixel and then without a filled column. Yes. So let me press on Ctrl Z to undo. Now coming back to our text tool, let me click on this very particular horizontal type tool. Now throughout this session, until otherwise, we'll be using this very particular Poppins regular. That's the font type we'll be using throughout for the purpose of this tutorial. So right before we continue, after activating a type tool, there is this very particular characters, yes, or rather properties, they will appear here at the top. Then this gives you the control to change the font and then to also change the font style itself. So now just as I said, we'll be using Poppins for this very particular as the font for this very particular exercise. So right before, so I would like to click here and then type the word Eric Daniel. Yes. So let me hit on OK. So immediately you type this very particular thing here. Right in our layer panel, you realize we auto have or created a text layer here. This very particular thing, which is namely Eric. So I'll go back to my move tool, this very particular tool, and then click on it, and I can drag this very particular one at any position on my canvas. So I would like to transform this very particular thing in order to change the sizing. Yes. So how do we transform? When you activated your move tool, you can press on Control key T. Sorry, you can press on Control T on your keyboard. Then the text will be be able to be transformed. So just from this anchor point, I will drag it somewhere here and then have this very particular size. Let me place it right here and then release this very particular thing I did here. So another way to transform like any element on your canvas is immediately you select it, like you select this very particular one, you can head over to your edit here at the menu bar, then click on this either free transform or transform, like this very particular thing. You can either select scale, rotate, skew, and then the rest. So I like to just click on scale. Right from here I can also scale it up or down. Yes. So quickly with me, let me explain details by details what exactly uh, the character panel is and then how the whole thing operate. So let me click on this very particular thing here and then open the character panel. So under the character panel, we have two things, which is the character itself and then also the paragraph, this very particular one. Yes. So as you can see, this one is already active. I would like to change a font if need be. If I click on this very particular little drop down icon, I can select any font right in from here. You can see. So this is how we easily change a font, or rather I can also start by by typing this very particular thing and then change to a different font. Yes. But at this moment I don't want to do anything like that, so I'll just come back to my character panel. Now if the font selected is a family font that has different children, you can come here actually and then select the different style, or rather the different weight of the font like you wanted to use. So currently we are using regular, and you can also change it to either medium, yeah, something like that, and then continue. So this is what this very particular thing does. So now the next thing is the size. Yes, you see us transforming this very particular one from small to big. You can also click on this very particular thing here. As you can see, currently is 27.32. You can change it to either 36 and so, or rather scale it down. You can also put a default value, or rather a selected value here, and then this point will increase or decrease what you have selected. Then next is this very particular thing, which is asking you to set the leading. So the leading in between what, in between paragraph. Now we were able to write Eric and Daniel in one line. Yes, Eric and Daniel in one line. So this very particular one, just as I said, is it allow you to set what, to set a leading. Now if I highlight the entire text and then right from here, let me take this one to the next line here like this. You realize that this very particular one is overlapping over this very particular one, not because of anything, just because that this very particular leading is at 20. So I would like to click and then select auto. It will now create a space in between this very particular one and then this very particular one. Only when these two texts, they are within same text box or text area. Yes, that is when this one is possible. So you can also auto adjust here. Right from here I can quickly give it 10. Right, you can see it's like very close. I can give it 30. Yes, and then the space is okay for me. If it is okay, I can leave it like this. Then this very particular one, which is called the matrix, or you can also set it as optical. So it also reduce, like in point, this very particular space in between what, in between each weight that are here. Let me leave it at 0 for now. So most importantly, this very particular one that is called tracking, or rather like a tracking space. So this separate, or rather give space, okay, in between each letter. This one is in between what, each letter. Now if I click on this very particular one and I give it 100, you realize that there is like space created in between E and R and I, and then I and C. So in another way around, you must often see designs like this. Let me scale this one real down. Yeah, and then let me highlight everything that is here. Let's bring back this thing to the first line, and then let's click on OK right here. So I like to give this very particular one 400 and then hit on enter. As you can see, we are creating equal space, right? Equal space in between E and R and I, and then I and C. Then so also with this very particular one. If I resize again, like give it added like more value, let me set 800 for now. You can see the space will continue increasing, and at the same time we're having something beautiful like here. Now let me set this one to 0 again, and then let me scale this very particular thing a big up like this. I think is okay. Yes. So the next thing is this. Let me hide this very particular one, and then let me come back, create a new text layer, and then let me give it A, B, and then C, all in caps. Yeah. So let me click on my move tool, and then make this one a real bigger like that. So I'd like to explain this very particular thing. So this is just typically the height, like adding a height. That's we're scaling each of these letter horizontally like that towards the up, towards the top side of this very particular thing. So if I give this very particular thing 120%, you find out that we have extend these very particular letters upward, right? Upward. Yeah, so I like to, which is not a good practice. I just like to leave it at 100, except if you have intention, you are intentional about adding what the height or distorting this very particular text height, then you can come around this very particular thing and then play with it. So same thing vertically here, like horizontally here. You can also what make this very particular one or stretch this very particular one horizontally like this, going this way. Yes. Then this very particular thing explain the baseline. Yes, the baseline. To explain this one well or real quick, let me make it a 0. Now the baseline is this very particular line that is here. Okay, let me head over to my let me head over to my ruler, this very particular tool ruler, and I'd like to draw something from here to here. Yeah, so that I can quickly explain what exactly this thing does. So you can see this is the baseline, this is the starting point, right, where these texts are being arranged. So if I come back to my move tool, but if I selected and activated this very particular text, and let me give it 30 point, and then hit on enter. Now you see that there is a serious space in between what the baseline and then towards the new value, right, we've added here. So just get to know this, that if you play around this very particular thing, you are adding space like from the baseline, then pushing it toward upward. So the next thing is the color. Yes, is the color. So simply with me, you can add a like color, a solid color, or rather a gradient color to a text part, or rather to a text itself into a theme. I can easily click here and then select a color, right? And then I hit on OK. I have my red color. I can also, while this very particular one is active, I can head over to my text tool, and then right from here, I can just change from here, right? And then select another one, another different color. So what we're saying this is immediately you click or activate it on a tool, up here, the characters or properties, okay, of that very particular tool will appear. So if this is a text type of layer, you can also change it from here, from its properties. Yeah, and then so also from the character panel you can also change it as well. Now with this text selected, let me hide, and then let me bring back this very particular thing that is here, and then also, okay, let's leave it in the same line for now. Now let me make the baseline 0, Yes, and then let me also make this very particular one. Okay, rather let's leave it like that. I think it's good looking. It's good looking like that. So the first here in this very particular line is the fax bold. This what this one typically does is that it added a word automatically irrespective of what the children here is active on. Now if I click on this very particular thing, you realize that the word will increase. And if I also click like this, like I will have what a reduction. So of which I really don't like. If it is a family font and if it do have bold like that, it's better I selected from the family font like that, okay, than to come here and selected this very particular one. So in case in your family font or the kind of font selected do not have this very particular one, you can come here and then select this very particular bold and then make your text bold. The next thing is the Italy. Now if I click here, my entire text, right, the entire text from this text box, I will turn to Italy. I think we know all the basics of this right from our knowledge of MS Word. Here I can make this whole thing like capital letter. Yes, here I can make it all capital letter, but the first capital letter, like or rather the first letter would be bigger than the rest. Here, if I want to make it a superscript, like I can click here and then it will go up. Yes, and this one is sorry, and then this one is a subscript. Then this one is just to give it like underline. Yes, and then this one is to strike all through the text. Yes, so this is all about this. And now you realize some features here. Actually these very particular things, so this one is for a calligraph. Like if this one do have the, or rather let me say, if the font, the kind of font do have the ability, you understand, to change either of these, it will be active. This very particular line will be active, then it will give you the liberty to further style this very particular text that is here. So quickly with me, we have our anti-alias text and then we also have a sharp text. So we always like to leave our text sharp, not smooth, right? Sharp and then not smooth. And then if you just want to like go back with what the person who designed the font, you can just click on none and then just leave it like that. But most often I like to leave my text at sharp. Now you can see when I click on none, you look at the edges of the text is not as sharp as before. Yeah, the edges, can you see, it's not as sharp as before. So just as I said, you can just leave it at sharp. Yeah, and it's gonna be what, it's gonna be fine. Now let me click and then leave it at sharp. Yeah, you can see it's a bit okay now, not as before. Yes, so this is all about character panel. Yes, this is all about character panel. I hope I did not miss a single explanation. And then this very particular one, just as I said, we have two things, is what the paragraph. So right before us, this text started from here and then it continues here. So this one is called left alignment of text, and then this one is the center alignment, and then this one is the right alignment. I think we have the knowledge of all these right in MS Word. So quickly with me, if I click on this very particular text as a tool, you can also have access to these very particular things that are here actually. And let's continue. Now right from here, I can make it a center line. Now if I move my tool, bring these two tools here and then bring this one at the center, you see that we achieve what a center alignment. So same thing with this very particular one, we take it towards to this very particular side. So now let's bring this very particular one here back to the start like the beginning. I will further explain this very particular thing real soon. So now, what does this very particular point mean? If you want to just maybe let's say push some stuff here, and I hit on OK, you're gonna shift actually from this very particular end to what here, and then this one like from right to left, and then this one is left to right, Then this one is all about paragraphing, right? Let me make this one 0, hit on OK. And then if I come here, let's say I give it to 10 value, I hit on OK. Then I will like create this one to indent itself, or rather create like a little paragraph, right, to make the text push a little bit. I like to make it 0 and then hit on OK. Yes. So same thing with this very particular one. As you can see, we are creating another space just from the first element, right? Pushing any content like below to to push down. Now let me hit on OK, and then same thing. This one is starting from the footer, and then this one is from the header. Yes. So also you can see that we arrange Eric and then Daniel in like Eric in the first line, Daniel in the second line. So if you hit on this very particular thing here, if it is a listed item, you can easily add a bulletin like to your list of the item here. And you can also give it by like numbering, right? You can also number these stuffs like just from this very particular thing that is here. But I don't need any of this. I'll just uncheck this very particular one. So this feature is latest and new in Adobe Photoshop 2025 and then 2026. So real quick with me, we're going to look at the text layer. As you can see, we have two texts actually here. Look at this very particular one and then this very particular thing, Eric Daniel. So we have two things here. And under layer panel itself and how we gonna control it, if you remember, we can hide and then unhide like a layer. We can also reduce the opacity as well. And then at the same time, we can also apply some blending modes to our to this very particular text that is here. We can also lock it. Yeah, yes, we can also lock a very like a particular uh, layer itself. So another most important thing we should know. So having this very particular one selected, this very particular ABC selected, I would like to hide it. And then on this very particular thing that is here, we like us to rasterize or teach you about rasterizing a text layer. It's also possible for us to rasterize a text layer by simply coming to the text itself, the layer itself here, this very particular thing, and then right click and then selected this very particular rasterize type. Immediately you rasterize, this one is now no longer a text. Why do we say so? You cannot change it, you cannot edit the text, and then you can also as well not change the color because now it's just as an image. You already converted this very particular one like or rather as image. So it's another most important reason why you should not rasterize your text layer anyhow, because you will have less control over the text. Yes. So now I control Z to undo the changes. Yeah, so this is all about how to rasterize a particular text. Next thing we're going to take care of is how to convert this very particular text into what? Into a part. Yes, you can control or convert a text into a part. And then how do we do that? Now let me drag this very particular one up. I would like to come back and then give this very particular one all caps here and then hit on OK, or rather close that very particular panel. So I can easily go to type, this very particular thing called type at the top, which is the menu, and then I can convert this one to shape easily like that. So this one now is now a shape, right? No longer a text, right? So I can start controlling it as what? As a like as a drawing or something like that. Just as I said, it's no longer a text. I cannot also change the word or the letter ERIOC. Now, if I head over to this my part selection tool and then I click on this very particular one, you can see I can drag a part of this very particular thing. Same thing here. I can quickly just drag from this very particular thing. Same thing here. I can distort whatsoever actually, because this one is no longer a text but a part, right? Now let me Control Z again to undo all the changes, then bring it back to my normal text layer. So that is how we convert this very particular thing into what? Into a part. Now, another thing again to consider is you can place object actually inside of what? Inside of your text. Yes, by simply heading over to file, and or rather, let me not go that advanced. Let me create another shape real quick with me, and then let's give it this color blue. I like to just give it a default value 100 by 100, and then let me close this very particular one, and then let's increase it to this point and then place it somewhere here. So real quick with me, just as I said, if you observe very clearly, this is a text, and then sorry, this is a part, like it's a shape which is a cycle, and then it's above what this text. So I can simply clip this very particular thing, or rather put this shape inside of this text without what distorting our text. So let me right click on this very particular one, and just from here you can see we can create what? A clipping mask. If I click on it, this very particular one is now inside of what? This very particular text. You can see the blue part of it. And you can also adjust it actually. You can adjust it, or rather let's say change the position. Yeah, somewhere here, so you can see stuff like that, right? So another thing you should know is immediately you clip something inside of a text, you can what? Also edit the text. Yes, it's possible. As you can see, I can delete a part, maybe write another thing, right? And then stuff like that. I would like to right click and then release the clipping marks to bring it back, and then let's hide this very particular thing we've created. So while we continue, most importantly, let me hide this very particular one and then bring this one on here, right? So you can also write a text on a pad. Yes, very, very simple. Now let's assume not only this one, let's assume you have another part here. Let me head over to this very particular pen tool, and then you see this is a part, right? Now let's create a new layer, and let's say I have like maybe a drawn line, stuff like that, like this, and I have another line here, right? And if I come back to my text tool here and I hover over this, I can write something actually on this very particular part I just created. So also what we're trying to say here is you can just on this cycle, this is a part, quite all right, like it's a shape and then it's drawn using a word, a part. I can head over to my text and then hover over these things until when this very particular text icon like change into another thing. You can see it has changed. Look at it before and then look at my joystick. It will change, right? So if I click on this very particular thing, I can write something in cycle form, let's say text, as you can see. And if I hit on OK, literally we are not typing inside or like merging together with this very particular shape around. As you can see, if I hide, this one remains as it is. It's just like guiding what? The text, okay? It's just guiding the text along the path, right? So this is how you can also what? Make cycle a text, or rather, or write something in a cycle form or following a path. Yes, let me hide this one as well. So real quick with me, I would like us to bring this very particular one down, and then let's change this one and let's put apply style. Yeah. So let me release this very particular thing and let's uncheck this very particular thing here. Also, I would like to change this very particular thing to auto. Yeah, something like this, and then let's leave it like that. So I would like to teach you about styling a text, like applying some effects, that's to say styling, to this very particular layer called apply style. Now how do we do that? We can simply right click here and then go to this very particular thing says blending option. If I click on this very particular thing, a new box dialog box will appear, and then we're going to control this very particular thing or apply somewhat styling. And you can see we can apply a bevel, a contour, a text, a stroke, inner shadow, inner glow, some satin, and then a color overlay, and it continues like that. So now let's start with the first one. If I click on this very particular one, if you observe very carefully, you will see that we have added what some style, like that's to say bevel on top of our shape. Let me uncheck again and then bring it back. You can see right from here. Now if I increase the depth, you see some effect actually changing, and then this one is inner. I can make it outer, and then change the depth as well. Can make it either smooth, chisel, or hard or soft, like stuff like that. Then same thing with the size. I can also increase what the size, okay? Then I can either soften it or like make it so hard, right? The angle, like where exactly do I want it to be, the angle of rotation? Am I using a global light or not? Like you can check or not. Then the close contour, like how is the wrapping you want it like to happen around the entire text and stuff like that. What is the blending mode of this very particular color, this very particular one, and then this one? Then stuff like that. Okay, you can further style and adjust the way you want your bevel to look like. And then under that we have the contour, and then contour, sorry, and then the text effect as well. Like if you want to add to the bevel, not now to the text. Okay, now uncheck this, and uncheck this very particular one. The next one is the stroke actually, and I know most of us do know about stroke. First, let me change the color and then give it something like this blue. As you can see, there is a stroke wrapping right around our text. You can bring down the value, yes, rail down, and then you can also increase it. So this one is from the inside. You can make it from the outside, increase what the entire stroke, stuff like that, and then have another different look. Yeah. So the opacity as well, right? How the level of how you want to look through the whole thing. And if there are some object behind this, you can also blend it as well, or even overprint it, okay? Stuff like that. So now I will uncheck this very particular one. We have inner shadow, or not explain it further. We have inner glow. If you zoom a little bit, you see that there is some glow from the inside, right? Yes, we have the satin, stuff like that. We have color overlay. Now a color overlay is different actually from the text color itself. The text color is maintained as black, but you can also come and apply some color on top of all this text layer. So just as the way we are applying color like to pixel or picture, like as an overlay, same thing with this very particular thing. You can also apply a gradient. Now you can see I check gradient, and then color is also there. So if color is checked, gradient will not work. It's as simple as that. Now let me uncheck this very particular one, and then let's select a different gradient. Let me select this very particular thing. So you can see a blended of what two color on this whole stuff right there, right? And I can also let me leave it for now and then check this very particular pattern. Now under pattern, okay, I uncheck this gradient overlay. Under pattern, you can see you can apply different pattern as well. You can even download different pattern online and then apply it to your text, right? You can see some texture, right? Some effect applied on your design. So now let me uncheck this very particular one, and then let's head over to outer glow. Same thing. Then lastly, which is like to drop a shadow, and it's very important. Let me increase this very particular opacity high, and then the size as well. Let me also increase it high. Yeah, you can see just for example purposes, I may later ask you as an assignment in this very particular class session. If you are watching at the course of this training, I will ask you to apply some shadow to either a pixel, image, or rather a text, right? So this is how you easily come to the layer style of any kind of a layer and then apply those stuff. Now I like to check this gradient color as well, leave the drop shadow, and then yeah, just these two for now. Let me hit on OK. Yes. So as you can see, we're able to apply two things here. And why do I did this is because of this example. Now let's come back to our layer panel. Under layer panel, you find out that we have applied some effect to this very particular layer, which is a text layer. And then those effects are what? They are just gradient overlay, and then they are drop shadow listed here. So I can uncheck, or rather hide any of the effect right from here, or rather hide the entire effect on this very particular layer. Remember, I said that time that we apply color, your text color is still in existence, just that the color overlay has what? Has covered, or just as the name implied, it overlaid itself on the what? On the existing text color. So this is how we go about what? uh, Applying some effect to this very particular thing. Advancedly, or rather quickly with me, I can like press on this very particular thing and right click on it, then select, or rather come head over to copy layer style, copy this very particular thing, then let me unhide this thing here and then bring it down. Let's right click and then paste the what? The style, this very particular style. Then you realize that what is here is what is here. As simple as that. So we can copy the text layer style and then paste it on another different what? Different text as well. So lastly, before we go, I'd like to show you one thing, and then we call it like a day. We close for this very particular session for today. Now, let me hide this very particular thing that is here, and then let's head over to our text tool. Now, you can create a text box actually, and then a field with what? With a with text actually, either the one you type, or let me set a lorem ipsum text. So real quick with me, I will change this very particular one to light, and then I will also change the size to 14. I think it's okay. So instead of clicking and start typing, I would like to drag like a text box that is here, something like this. And then Photoshop will automatically fill or start filling this very particular thing with a dummy text. So you can somehow start typing, okay? Something like this as a paragraph. Okay, now let me set type a new paragraph, stuff like that. Okay, and then now let me jump to the next line, and then from the next line I can quickly go to my type and then paste lorem ipsum text. Okay, like to what is below here. Remember I said I will show you something, right? So this is a text box filled with dummy data. Quite all right. Then if I head over to my paragraph 2 or panel, you realize that here is now active. Remember during the start of the class I said I will explain this very particular thing. Now if I click on this very particular one, I will what? I will justify everything equal, and then let me come back here and then double click, then drag this very particular one down for easy learning. Let me delete this very particular thing and then hit on OK. Yes, you can see that this one just the ending after it has justified itself, then this very particular one stopped here. Now if I click on this very particular thing, you will realize that it will come to the middle, justify but at the middle, and then this one justified but it is what justified to the right. Yeah, so this is all about this. If you want equal justification, everything like that from top to bottom, it will what? It will completely justify itself. So let me come back and then click on this very particular thing that it is here. Then you can also actually highlight a particular text. Okay, then come back to your character too. You can even entirely change the font there, and then change the color as well, stuff like that, just by highlighting on one particular thing. Is also what is also possible in Photoshop. So guys, before we go, I would like to you to note this very particular point that I will tell you, and just have it at the back of your mind. We have covered a lot in this very particular training. On our text mastery, please, you have to know that the typography design is not a decoration. Yes, good spacing also improved readability more than effect. Please just get to know this. Do not overcrowd your design with what? A lot of effect. Now always keep text editable. It's very, very important. Okay, so that you can just don't just go and then convert your text so fast to rasterize it and then later not be able to change. Now, hierarchy guides the viewer's eyes as well. Very, very important. Then another thing, you have to use fewer fonts and not more. I think I explained this in details in our layout course, right? Then text should be clearly matters more than style. This one I'm over stretching on it again. Then master the character and the paragraph panel is very, very important. So lastly, please, simple text layout look more professional. As simple as that. So thank you for your time and then thank you for staying with me. Now let's see in the coming video. And if you know today is your first time visiting our channel or like joining us, please, we encourage you to subscribe to this very particular channel, and then at the same time you will help us grow.